So 7 coins we can buy in this altcoin dip. Let's start. Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. If you're new, subscribe, bell button, leave a like. Now, a little bit of a different setup now. New desk, happy days. I will be showing it off in due course. Patreon members have already seen it. Not in its full glory though, not fully set up, but it goes up and down. It's cool. I'm going to get a new chair and then we're going to start eventually getting some backdrop done. I need to order a few stuff and then the camera will be back, just in case you're wondering. So let's crack on, eh? Why not? Because we've had this little bit of a dump. Bit of a crash, as they would say. And I've been talking about statistical data regarding the annual returns of monthly charting of the world of Bitcoin in September. We're currently publishing a negative. We had a great August and a great, start of September. Really, really good. We took a hit yesterday though, big one. Now, whether this means that we are going to publish greens or not, I don't know. The data is obvious. It's there for all to see. For some reason, September is just a shit month for crypto, and I'm not sure why. It's just one of those things, right? Whether that is tied into Ghost Month and all kinds of elements around that, or if it's just one of those elements where it just happens and we get a strong Q4, which we usually do anyways, as you can see by the more greens versus red. So this could be, not financial advice, the dip before the pump. Yeah, we are going to go with that. Wow, why not? Yeah, let's go. So, post-it note in front of me, I got 7 coins. Some of them I hold, some of them I don't hold, but they've all published a really, really good high or low. I have bought one of them though, reserve rights, which is the first coin I'm going to talk about. Why have I bought it? Well, you're probably wondering, why not? It just seemed like too good of an opportunity to finally get to a certain milestone that I wanted to get to for a while. And we'll look predominantly at the world of USD, but just to prove a point here, in the USD pairs and BTC pairs, obviously BTC pair being shown here, this is still undervalued for me anyways. That's my personal thought on it. Looking at this though, this is what we've got. We've got a very, very obvious level and a level of support here of interest. I think this is a pretty solid level in my opinion. Why, you're probably wondering? Well, it's still low. This is the all-time highs. There's an AMA going off on the 13th, I believe, on the Reddit. There will probably be announcements on that Reddit regarding the mainnet, which is also a very, very important element to this. This has not got a mainnet yet. Maybe, just got to put it out there, we will get one by the end of the year. And this, at this price level, may well be very, very important for the life cycle of where the price action could go. Where are we on the Fibonacci? Well, you probably guessed it, in and around that 618 level, a huge drop from that overall structure. And we could well be going from this level, potentially, this is obviously not financial advice, of course, to ascend up to this point here, where the previous levels have been and where the structure bodies have been in the past. So yeah, I'd be very, very happy with that if that is the case for this dipping point. Moving on to coin number 2 is, well, you've probably already guessed it. It's Polkadot, right? So why am I talking about Polkadot? Reason being is because I still think that where it dipped to, which was absolutely savage by the way, really, really strong hold in terms of this $25 level. We're now currently roughly around $28, but this dipped really hard yesterday. And a lot of people in my Telegram group were looking at buying this when it was dipping below $25. Congratulations if you got there. But for me, Polkadot auctions of the parachains are coming live very, very soon. The KSM hype is starting to gear up, certainly between Moonbeam, Moon River, all the other ones coming out as well. So maybe passive income wise, the rewards are relatively high. This is doing okay. And as I say, we've just formed yet again another body closure, and well, it looks very much like a body closure soon. Still got 8 hours to go, but continuation of the trend. But for me, still looks pretty good. If we're looking at this, obviously, I wouldn't count that wick in play personally. It's too much of a fish wick, but the way I see it, we could well see some nice movements going up. Certainly if we're looking to retest the structure level up here. If we do form a new high from here, it'll be an absolutely great buy, especially when you think of the passive side of it. So as I say, passive. If you were in the dump, I do apologize. However, some people have some stable currencies locked up. Passive income, passive waiting, as I like to say. If you want to buy the dip, you could have done that on BlockFi whilst having it locked up, because you can move your cryptocurrency within BlockFi to another coin. So if you had a lot of stable coins and you were looking, oh, I can just buy the dip, and I can just transfer that over very quickly into Bitcoin or Ethereum, you could have done that very, very easily if it was locked up in this platform and you weren't in a lockup, which is always a good thing to have. You can earn passive income on multiple pairs, and you can also get paid actually in those pairs too. If you go on my link below, if you know blockfi.com/cryptomobster, you can get some free Bitcoin, especially if you are putting some money in here. And what I will say is this: security is a top element, but at the same time, you are not locked up in any way. You can move your cryptocurrency around on the platform. So if you had a bit of Ethereum and you're a bit vulnerable at the fact that it's gone to like $5,000 for the first time ever, you could, if you want to, move that into another, stable currency, and you can play the game that way if you so wish to. So get on the link and get some passive income created. Anywho, next one, you're probably wondering what this one is. You probably know anyways, judging by some of the tweets I've been doing about it recently. I've been trading Link because I like to trade Link. I've got a really good record with Chainlink, especially with trading. And we formed a higher high, and we've still formed, higher low. So we're fine. We're still in the trend. Buy the dip, but obviously don't buy the dip that keeps on dipping. A lot of people talk about that as a little bit of a meme, and I get it. I understand it. A lower low, all that good stuff, right? When people are buying these dips where you're below the trend, it's a bit different, whereas we're not in that situation right now. If this then went up to this point and failed, and we formed an obvious lower high, then you're probably going to be thinking, oh God, I shouldn't really buy this dip until it starts publishing those highs, which is what you want, right? But right now, we're currently safe. If we're looking at this overall structure levels, in my opinion, not a bad level to be on, roughly in and around that 382. And if you are putting, some horizontal levels around this point, even if I look left here, we've got so much in and around this region. When I just go like that, there's loads of confluence in and around this region. It has to hold. If this holds, it could well be a great place to be. And that could well be a nice place for a long-term kind of, situation where you could be thinking, well, this could go much higher. If we're looking overall, though, as well, at this high point to this low point, essentially, in my opinion anyways, we could be looking at a really nice level where if it does flip this $28 level, it could be on course for a potential retest of essentially $38, which isn't a bad place to be. But again, as I say, it's still okay because the trend is still intact technically. Don't worry about it being under the EMA. It's more about the chart structure itself. If we form a close below this point, it would have been a pretty horrible sight. But obviously, we need to get above certain regions around here for obvious reasons. Mainly that level, $32 give or take. But still looks healthy for a purchase, in my opinion, anyways. Especially when you look at the fundamentals too. Now, the next one. I've not talked about this one for a few weeks. VeChain. This has had another big drop, and it has hit a level where I've been of interest, right? Where we've been looking at this level and thinking, well, maybe we might get a liquidity grab, and we have, right? The liquidity grab has been hit in and around near the 618, very, very close to it. But again, chart structure looks all right. Realistically, we formed a new high. Let's see if we form another high, which could be a potential here. Definitely, it could be a potential. Got to be careful though, because we are in undervalued territory. We could be looking at a potential downtrend, especially if you're drawing the dots all the way across here. However, even still, when you think of where it has been in the past, like roughly around 29 cents, and we're looking at potentially loading up at 11 cents here, where not too long ago, a couple of days ago, it was like 15 cents. It's just a bit, common sense has to prevail here and look at that. But if we are looking at certain situations here, so if I go from this point to this tip here, we hit roughly the 382, and then we just failed on this point here, which is fair enough, right? But what we've got to look at overall, though, in my opinion anyway, is the overall structure of this entire level. We are literally resting right now on this 382 level, this huge level here, which is probably going to be pretty damn important for holding, and then we may well look for a retest of going up towards this line at least. If it fails from that line, maybe bug out of it, potentially, but that's it only if it forms a new lower high, but we'll see how it goes. Anywho, next one, BDAR. Now, this has been quite of interest, reason being because I've still got TA on here. big massive move there in terms of the all-time high levels where we could be going to, but this has actually formed what I was kind of expecting realistically from a pullback. Now, not perfect, it isn't crystal clear, obviously, but my point was we are probably going to retest this $11 at one point. We have went right back into a demand level here, and again, we've still formed a new high. These highs are very, very important, so we could well be looking at another push up, which is why I wasn't too concerned regarding the whole entire dip anyways, even though people were flapping like absolute crazy. But at the end of the day, most of these charts have formed new highs and they didn't form new lows, which is good. It's a good thing, right? Especially on closures. So maybe in 2 weeks, we might be at new highs, which is pretty damn scary, right? So for me, looking at this, previous all-time high, roughly $15, $16. We're currently looking at $6.70, and this was literally on the door of $10 not too long ago. Really, we should be looking at this one. Next one, I've not talked about this for a long, long time. Might have some old data on this. No, I don't. Utrust is another one that has formed a monster run. Not the most tidiest, I will admit, but it has formed a nice little low in and around the 600 level, which is always important. Consolidated for a little bit around this point, and then we just took a nosedive with the market, but it's showing levels of support in and around where these regions have been in the past, where it's been resistance and support throughout, right? Now, this is where it gets interesting because this has formed a monster high and it dipped quite aggressively, consolidated and obviously dropped lower. Could be a huge liquidity grab. There's a lot of good fundamentals and partnerships bounded around quite a lot for Utrust. It does well with an adoption effect. It'll probably do better if it maybe wasn't on the Ethereum network, essentially, in my opinion. However, when we're looking at this, we could be looking at a really nice run to the upside, especially when you look at, well, bear with me, looking at this high point, for obvious reasons here, to the low, which is a monster, and look at where we tapped. On the nose, the 618 level. Monster run. So we've already done a big move. But at the same time, though, when you look at this, we're still this low, and we've still got a very, very nice dipping point in and around an area, which we all know already is a 618 level. So we could well be looking at this as a potential buy zone as demand, and we could see some nice returns from there. Now, the last one, I've not really looked at this for a long time, is Rune. Why not? Because I just haven't, right? Again, similar sort of situation. We have formed just about a new high in terms of body closures, but at the same time, though, it's still looking pretty strong as a trend, and at the same time, with that, we could be looking at a very nice level, which we are, where we could be looking at capturing again around this point. So that is of interest. Again, if I'm looking from this bottom point, overall anyways, in my opinion, anyway, this is a good one, right on the 382 of that situation there. So we could be looking at this level here, being a nice little, stronghold, essentially, looking left there. And we could well be looking at a retest and a look at $12.55, potentially. If that is the case and we do flip it, we may well be looking at up this point here and then maybe even higher. But it actually hasn't done too bad, this one, even though there's been a few little problems with it in terms of little hacks here and there, but it has definitely recovered and some pretty good, strong community outlet on there as well. So there you go. There's 7 coins that do look all right. Realistically, they're in good chart structure, nice highs in most cases. Could well be a great demand and a liquidity grab, even though the results look pretty rubbish in September. Obviously, be careful. But sometimes, a dip is designed to just be bought. And then if those fundamentals of coins are still very, very good, and we are a bit of a lull over this course this month, who knows what September and the end of September, essentially October, November, December, do bring for a lot of top quality assets.